Welcome to D&D with Ice, which presents the Vixens. We are live from the quarantine, and all of the girls are here. Welcome back, Amanda.
Hi.
All right, so everybody, welcome to yet another live episode from the quarantine. I want to say thank you first and foremost before we even kick this off to my wonderful patrons on Patreon for making all this possible. So in the previous episode, you guys had traveled around quite a bit. You had fought some trolls, and you finally, after days and days and days of travel, you are coming up on the open land north of the river, north of the mountains, leading to the small, very rural and remote village of Desa Utaru. And as you guys were approaching, you noticed that some of the buildings were smoking. And you started to see like panicked people like flocking, like running and towards the village, and people like just panicking, and crowds of people and people leaving their farms and like running towards the village. And as you're running, you notice like one of the people that was up ahead of you like looked back and was like, "Dragon!" and pointed to the sky. And far off in the sky, you saw this just ever so small thing flying through the sky, but coming in your direction. And that is where we are going to pick up. So you figure you're about 200 yards from the main central part of the village. There are like outlying farms, and some of those have already been torched. And you notice as you guys are running full speed towards the village, this is not like a city. There aren't walls. There's like little fences around buildings and stuff, but there's no like walls. You do see a couple like guard towers, and you notice that there's people in them. One of the guard towers, like the roof of it is like totally like crisp and like smoking. And you think maybe that's what you saw when you were several hundred yards away still. But you noticed in the other guard tower, you notice like two guards up in the tower, like loading heavy crossbows and getting ready. And you notice there's like a couple, what you think are maybe like militia soldiers who are trying to like usher people into some of the buildings that are made of stone. But most of the buildings in this very small village are not made of stone. So that's where you guys begin. So what do you guys do?
So you said most of the buildings are made of stone?
Yeah, so on that little map that I created for this encounter, there's like 3 buildings that are made of stone, and the other ones are made of wood. So one of the buildings looks like it's maybe a temple of some kind, like some kind of holy temple.
Where are we on this map?
So you guys are approaching from the south. You're like east of the river, so you're on the same side of the river as the rest of the people fleeing towards the village. But you're kind of near the southern farms as you were coming out of the woods, like towards this open area. So you figure if you run full speed, you could get to any of the buildings in the village.
Okay.
So where do we see the dragon at?
So the dragon was coming from southeast, like basically in the direction of the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I say we should, run with the people, but you said that there was like some type of temple.
Is
Yes.
it that like big blue one?
And is
Yeah.
the temple burning?
Yeah. The temple's not burning. No, it doesn't look like that's been attacked yet.
Let's run to the temple, I say. Because then we can try to collect as much stuff as we can.
Well, and you also notice that the people are splitting off in different directions once they get closer to the village. Like some of them are going into buildings, like the first buildings they get to, and others like you are headed to the temple.
Let's go.
Are the little ones around it stone too?
Some of them are, yeah.
Maybe we should go into a smaller one.
For safety reasons, yeah, but at the same time, we need the information from the temple before it gets burned down.
That's true. Okay,
We
so
could
let's
split
go to the
up,
temple first,
and
and if there's
some people could like take the little people to safety, and then some could
That's
go to the temple.
Okay, so who's gonna go where?
I want to go to the temple.
Okay,
let's at least just like see what's going on in there before we make more decisions.
I'm
Okay.
down to take people to safety. I'm okay with that.
all right.
What
What about Sorsha and Woe?
Our options are, well, so is everybody taking somebody now or just Amanda?
Well, it
We're-
looks like you guys could probably, if you wanted to help people get into cover, you could probably help them get into some of the buildings that are kind of closer on your way to the temple.
Okay, so I'm gonna look for like the vulnerable, like the old people and
There are
the
a lot.
children.
There are old people, there are like
Right.
mothers with children, and there's like the crippled people who are like hobbling.
Okay, I'll take the old ladies. And
Okay,
only the old ladies.
I mean, I am
Just
very
the old
strong,
ladies.
so I carry 5 people.
okay, so I'm gonna start with you, Sorsha. You successfully pick up 3 people. You get like 1 person over each shoulder, and you're holding like a kid in the front. So you have like, you're like hustling. Oh, thank you, Karafa.
Wow. No, Reagan, he said 3. You get 3 and that's it.
I think I know my own strength of my own character, and she could carry 5 people.
Well, you
I don't
could.
think there's enough space on your body to carry.
Dude,
5.
he just
I'm
rolled.
fat and muscly and big. Do not
Okay.
at me.
You on your way, you scoop up 2 more old people. And now you're
Why are you
you're
getting the old people?
slowly moving.
Yeah, wait.
Melissa,
I want to save the young people. They're the future.
Yeah,
Okay.
kill the boomers.
you drop
Kill
2
the
old
boomers.
people, but Melissa picks them up. So Melissa, you even though you have a measly 8 strength, I rolled a 20 on your athletics check. So you actually are able to pick up 2 old people.
I'll pick up old people.
Oh, can I snatch him up
hit
by
people?
like the hair?
No.
Right here.
I have 18 strength.
Yeah. So Beth, you also have a very strong roll with a total for your athletics of 25. So you pick up 3 people, and Sina, wow, this dice is on fire. Sina grabs 2 people. So 2, 4,
Oh, yeah.
6, 10, 12. Together, you guys managed to grab 12 people. Oh, I forgot about something. Zara doesn't grab anyone. She runs to the temple. But the mighty
was-
Unak, who remember is not wearing armor or carrying any heavy equipment, he picks up 5 people by himself and runs ahead of you with 5 people towards one of the small
A
stone
man.
buildings.
Him.
What about Duke? Bill?
Oh, Bill, no.
Yeah.
Middle of this crowd.
Oh,
Bill.
What?
Oh,
You were frozen for like a
yeah.
minute.
No, Karafa.
now
So-
you're good.
Okay, so did you hear what I said though? The Duke?
No.
So the Duke stops. The Duke stops like in the middle of this crowd of moving people, and he looks back in the direction of this dragon. And he seems to just be like studying it for a minute. But you guys are like moving. So you're like the crowd's following you now, like as you picked up these people, like people who are you didn't even pick up are following you, like because they're just following you to
'Cause
safety.
we're
So
cool. Yeah.
you have a mob of people around you and that you're carrying. So you guys get to like the first stone building, okay? And you're like unloading people, and you notice like one of the militia guards runs up and sees you, and he's like, yes, in here. He goes, go to the cellar. The trapdoor's open. Take cover in the cellar. And then he grabs a longbow and he starts running back towards like where the dragon's coming. So after about 2 minutes, you guys completely unload all these civilians, and you're kind of standing outside of this stone building. Now, at this point, Unak like looks back at the Duke, who's still like 50 yards away. and he yells like in their language to the Duke, and the Duke like kind of turns and looks at you, and then he begins like running towards you guys. So as you look back towards the Duke, you see that dragon is getting a lot closer. Like you figure it'll be here within like 15 to 20 seconds. So
How
do you
close are we
want
to the temple?
So if you run right now full speed, you could probably make it to the temple, or
We
you
should
could
do
choose to
that.
take cover in this building.
It,
I'm gonna run to the temple.
is the building stone?
Yes.
Then I'll stay there.
Okay. So you're going to stay with the civilians. Who's running to the temple? Abby, where are you going?
I'm going to the temple.
Okay. Amanda?
I can stay with the civilians.
Okay.
Whatever everybody else thinks is best, I'll do.
All right.
I'm
So
gonna
Follow her.
temple.
the Duke and Unak follow whoever's going to the temple. So those of you going to the temple run full speed. So that's Abby and Melissa are going to the temple, and the rest of you guys are staying with the civilians, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody who's running to the temple, you run to this temple and you notice there's like two men like holding open the doors, and they're like, faster, faster. They're like yelling at you to run faster. And you're like running, and you look back over your shoulder and you see the dragon's like really close, and it's like in a nosedive. Like it's just plummeting towards the village. Abby, you can see now the color of this dragon.
What color is the dragon?
It is red. And your knowledge has told you that red dragons are not good. They are evil dragons, among the most evil.
No shit. It's
Nice.
killing a bunch of civilians.
So you make it into the temple, and Unak and the Duke, all of you guys make it into the temple, and they close these big, heavy wood doors that have like metal banding, and they slam them shut. And you notice a bunch of other people like in the temple already, like cowered underneath like the walls and like kind of in a take cover position. And some of them are like hiding underneath like wooden pews. Flash back to the small building. Those of you in the small building, you guys kind of peek out the window to see what's going on, and you see this dragon coming, and it looks like it's going to do a dive bomb into the village. And then just at the last moment, it starts to pull up. It's about 50 feet above the building you're in, which is when it just breathes fire, and you, before the fire even gets to the building, you feel the heat. So you guys like jump away from the windows and take cover on the ground. So here's what happens. The sound of it is so loud that you are briefly deafened. You can't hear anyone else around you. You know, you like see people screaming in terror, but you can't hear what they're saying because the sound of it is so loud. And you feel the heat like all around you. And you actually hear like crackling from the roof, and you see like brightness and flame kind of through the roof. Like you get the impression that the roof is now on fire.
Maybe we should book it.
Cut back to the temple. People in the temple. You peek out the window. You see the dragon do this dive bomb and torch like just a whole bunch of space around this building. And you see people who couldn't quite make it into the building are now just on the ground, charred. Like crisp charred. And
Good thing
the
I
dragon,
killed 5 people.
after this dive bomb, like flaming strafe attack, the dragon kind of curves away towards the river to make this big circle around. Back to the people in the cottage. The intensity of the heat recedes a little bit, but you definitely can look up and see that this roof is on fire. Like it structurally won't be able to stay up for very long. And there are people in the cellar underneath the main level who you feel might be trapped if that roof collapses. So what do you do?
Can we like shoot at it through the window?
Yes.
I don't have anything.
I want to do that.
Okay. So Sina, you jump up to the window, and as it's flying away, you shoot. It's a difficult shot because it's moving very quickly.
I aim for the eye.
You miss.
I want to get. What the hell?
You shoot. Your arrow
Nice.
seems to be flying true in the right direction, and the dragon's wing just curves and it flies like out of the way.
Disappointing.
I will now say that
I'm not
while you're, but here's the thing, while you're in the window, you see, remember how I told you there was a guard tower? You see the two guards, and they are firing heavy crossbows at this thing. One of which hits,
Gang, gang.
and the other misses. So you see this crossbow bolt from one of the guys hit the dragon. The dragon kind of like barely moves. It'd be like if somebody threw like a pencil A. And then it begins this huge curve in the sky. It's like making a circle around. Okay, cut back to the temple. People in the temple. What are you doing?
We need to look for information on them.
Wait, where am I? The temple or not the temple?
You are not at the temple. So did you want to go shoot this thing like Sina did? Reagan.
Yes, someone needs to.
Do you want to go shoot this thing?
Yeah, I'll shoot the thing.
Okay.
Is that even a question? Do you have to ask that question? It's Reagan. Come on.
All right. Your first shot misses. Your second shot misses. You fire 2 arrows, and this thing's just flying so fast, your arrows aren't able to keep up.
But
And
it's such a big target. That's such an F on my part.
It is. It is a huge target. So back to the temple. So Abby and Melissa, you guys notice that the Duke and Unak are like looking around the temple, like they're looking for something. And you see Zara actually all the way across the temple, kind of up by like the main altar area, and she's talking with some priest. So what do you do?
Go to Zara and talk to the priest with her and try to find out about them.
Okay.
How far from like paying attention to us is the dragon? Like, is he pretty occupied?
You know that he just attacked and that he's swooping around. You're not sure exactly how long it'll take for him to come back around, and you're not exactly sure where he's going to attack. He's like a big airplane making a turn.
Is there some sort of roll I can make to see what the like likelihood of somebody succeeding as a distraction would be, so that he would stay in one place? Can I check that, or do I just have to like full send?
You'd have to full send. I mean, you know that dragons aren't stupid. They're not like trolls. They're actually pretty intelligent. So if you wanted to kind of draw its attention to you or to something else, you'd have to actually do it, and you'd have to actually successfully do whatever it is that you were trying to do to distract it.
Okay. Do I still have my little mouse?
Yeah.
Are you gonna put him at risk right now?
Don't do that, man.
You're not,
He's gonna
You're not
get
there.
charred by this.
Well,
thing.
I don't care. I
Melissa,
need to
do
stick up for
not-
this
This is
mouse.
like me versus
Your
Godzilla
mouse will
right
not
now.
survive a
dude.
second.
Fucked up.
Dude, this
Guys.
is flying.
Okay.
And this mouse is
Okay.
tiny.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
You
I didn't do
suggested it.
anything. I didn't do
okay,
anything.
just Melissa. Tell me what you're going to do. You have 10 seconds to decide.
Okay, so whichever direction the dragon is like circling in, I'm gonna. If he's going that way, I'm running out. I'm doing
Okay.
that.
All right, good. You run out of the temple and you start running across town through this maze of like destroyed and burning like wagons and things that were outside and like people's charred bodies, right? You're making your way through and you're heading towards the dragon, and you move stupidly fast. You have a super movement speed. So you make it halfway through town easily. All right, back to you, Abby. You run
Yeah.
up and you see Zara's talking to this older priest, and you run up and the priest looks at you and Zara looks at you, and she says, "We've got to stop this dragon. There's no way that he can find the lore in mere moments. They have a whole library downstairs in their catacombs. It's going to take us days to find this. If this building burns down, we lose any hope."
We need, okay, like Melissa was talking about, we might need a distraction, but it might be better instead of using a little mouse.
That's why I ran out of the building.
That will die immediately. Well, are you
No.
distracting the dragon, or are you just running
What if
away
we
from
use-
the dragon?
what if-
No,
Please do not.
I'm trying to distract it, which is why I'm like intercrossing him, so that like if he's going towards the temple, that he could just like be like, "Yo, what's that?" and turn
Okay.
around.
What if
Then-
we use Enoch?
We could all, yo,
If Enoch dies, I'm gonna
if
cry.
we all go in separate directions.
We all go together and we spin in a circle to like confuse him, and then we go different directions.
Pause.
Sorry.
That's a great idea. So here's what happens, Abby. As you are talking with Zara and the priest, you notice that Enoch and the Duke like basically found these wooden sticks, and you notice they run out the door after Woe.
Okay, then I'm joining them, I guess.
Can I do something at this point?
Smash cut. All right, back to the cottage.
Wait,
So
I'm not in the
Beth,
cottage, am I?
yes, you are. God damn it, Reagan. Pay
Okay.
attention.
Okay, here's my idea. I set up cordon of arrows around the village.
Ooh. Cordon of arrows. Well. All right,
When-
while I'm looking that up, Beth,
I want to cast.
one of the militiamen gives you a longbow and a quiver of 20 arrows.
How cool! I would like to cast Shield of Faith,
Okay.
and
Manda.
then I would like to shoot him.
Okay, I'll get to you in a moment. Manda, what are you doing?
I mean, I guess all I can do is shoot demands again.
Wait, is it a man?
I don't have any other.
Do we know if it's a?
Oh yeah, is it a lady dragon or
I can
a-
only a
a
red
stupid
angry.
dragon?
It's red. It's angry. I
That
don't
is a
know.
woman dragon.
is it a
Red
lady
hot.
dragon or a
Red
stupid
dragon.
dragon?
When I think about, I don't. It doesn't
Red
matter.
hot.
I don't care. I don't really care what it is. I
Y'all,
just wanna
can we name
shoot in
it?
the freaking eye.
No, because then it's gonna stop
Can we name it Lucifer? Can we call it Lucifer?
Lucy.
No, that's Oh.
Lucy. Oh,
That's so
Wait.
iconic.
that's so sweet.
All right, hold on. Shh. Reagan, I'm going to tell you this so you don't waste the spell slot, because your character would know this. Your cordon of arrows is a 30-foot range, and so far this dragon hasn't dropped below 50 feet from up high.
Yes.
So basically, cordon of arrows would
Yes.
cordon of arrows would be a waste of your spell. I'm just telling you. So do you still want to do it?
Okay, look up, is barkskin fireproof?
No.
Look it up. Damn it.
It's
That's-
literally
I know.
wood. Dude, it's wood.
It. No, all it does is boost your AC. It doesn't give you any resistance to fire. Okay, so in order, are you going to try to shoot this thing with your longbow?
Yeah. Oh, well,
So Sina's going to shoot.
I want to shoot too.
yeah.
That would be a hit. That would actually be a crit.
What's Hunter's Mark and can I use it?
Yes, you can mark it. All right, so you just got a critical. So you're going to be doing 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. $22. Nice shot. So you hit it. And it seems like
Good.
the hit that it took from you might have been a little bit more painful to it than the hit that it took from the crossbow man.
Nice.
Okay, Beth, what do you want to do?
can I cast Shield of Faith and shoot in the same? Like, where is he? Like, how close am I to him? Like, am I
he
still
is
in?
like he's circling around the river. He's like 120 feet away. He's far.
So he's not close by.
No,
And where am I right now?
you're inside the cottage.
What's going on inside the cottage?
So you can cast Shield of Faith, and yeah, you could cast it because it's a bonus action, and you could fire with your longbow
Okay. How
if you want to do that.
How long does it last?
As long
Is
as
it
you're
like-
concentrating on it, it lasts up to 10 minutes. So here's another thing. You could run to the neighboring building, which is not this cottage. You could use your movement, get to the building across the street to take cover, use your
Yeah.
bonus action for Shield of Faith, and you could shoot 2 arrows at it.
How realistic is it to get to the temple?
That would not, you'd have to blow your whole round.
Okay.
You'd have to
then
move
just
double
get to
movement.
just get to the next building
Okay. The first shot
and
misses.
cast.
Second shot hits. 4 plus 2 is 6. So it takes 6 damage. And then using your bonus action, you cast Shield of Faith. And you feel this shimmering field appear around you, like outlining you in holiness, and you feel like your defense is stronger. Okay. Reagan. You want to try to shoot it again?
Yeah, why not? I got nothing better to do.
All right. Are you doing hunt? You
That's
could
weird.
move. You saw Mantra move. So if you want to get closer, you can move closer.
But it sounds like a bad idea considering this thing is like literally just flamed like everyone in the town who wasn't inside.
Well, so here's the scoop. Your hunter's mark is also a bonus action. And if you move 30 feet closer to take cover, that puts you within range for hunter's mark. It's a 90-foot range. So you could actually move 30 feet, bonus action hunter's mark, and then shoot it. And if you hit, you do an extra 1d6 damage.
Okay, I can shoot it twice though, right? Because I
Right.
always
Yeah,
Okay.
but as long as you're
Can I
concentrating,
go close, shoot it twice, and then dip back to my hiding spot before it can kill me.
no, you can't dip back. You just have to take cover at the building where Beth is.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Okay. So you run, you make it to the building, you activate Hunter's Mark, and as it's flying back towards the village, you now see it like with your singular focus. And you pull back and fire. 15 plus 5. That's a hit. So the first one hits. And because also your look on your page 2 of your character, buddy. Maybe there's something that you'll be happy about.
Okay. My page 2.
There's one little note there for you.
Colossus Slayer, extra 1d8 damage. Yes, I would like to see.
So that stacks with your Hunter's Mark. So you're gonna do this plus your damage bonus. So 8.
I
and 3 is
I also
11.
have Savage Attacks, which equals
Mhm.
crit equals 1 extra damage.
Yep. 15, 17. So you do 17.
Did you not hear that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard it. You do 17 damage with the first arrow.
How much life does it have?
Oh, a lot.
Well, that's not answering my question. A lot could be anywhere from 100 to 1,000.
Well, you're not a doctor, so
Wow.
you don't know. Rip.
Hey,
Someone in this town find me a doctor.
All right, second
Shut
second
up.
attack. Second attack is a hit. So D8 plus a 6 is 10. Plus that 16 plus 2 is 18 more. Wow. All right. Two more shots are successful. And you are now taking cover with Mantra at the adjacent building. Okay. Back to it. It will fly and
Did we skip me?
oh. No, I'm not on you. I'm on the dragon. It does not have successful fire breath, so it is going to make claw attacks on the crossbow man. Hit. So it flies by, and you notice it just, with its claws, it just rakes past the guard tower, and the two guys that were up there just go flying, and their bodies like hit the ground, and like buckets of blood just shoot out. Like its claws tore them in half. Okay.
Sick.
Now it's flying over the village. You're there. So you're like out in the open. So it's your turn. What do you do to get its attention?
Cool. What direction is he going in?
It's
Where is he
flying.
headed?
It's flying towards the tower, towards the temple. So you're like halfway between the temple and where Beth and Reagan are, and you're out in the open street, and you saw this as you were running out there. You saw it fly past the tower and just claw these two guards that were up there.
Cool. So if that's him and this is where I'm going, I'm gonna like go to the side, you know what I'm saying? And try to somewhat get behind him so I'm not like directly crossing his path.
Okay.
I'm gonna duck down, try to find some sort of shelter so he doesn't really see me.
Okay. I'm gonna make a perception check to see if he notices you.
Rip.
He seems to just be flying like he didn't notice you.
Okay. Can I still do stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I find a piece of glass on the ground. He's like, if he's going past me, I'm going like kind of behind, not totally behind yet. I'm still in front of him somewhat, but I'm not in his path. I found a piece of glass. I angle it at the sun, and I'm like doing one of those reflection thingies to get his attention.
Are you temporarily blinding him?
No, I'm trying to.
He doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to be having an impact. Like he doesn't seem. Yeah, he's still flying kind of up and towards the temple.
Okay, and I'm just gonna keep running and try to get behind him.
Oh, you're behind him.
Okay.
Abby.
Hello. Am I able to call lightning, and what would that do?
That might do something. While you're thinking about calling lightning and I'm looking it up, let me describe to you what you see from the Duke and from Unok. So you notice that Duke Sharsane does something with that like wood pole, and it changes in his hand, and it becomes this like glowing, like bright white and blue, like radiant spear. And you notice that he chucks it up at the dragon. Hit. 17. Okay. And it hits the dragon, and the dragon like recoils in pain and kind of like dips up to avoid it, but he definitely gets hit. Your call lightning can definitely be used. And as long as you concentrate on it, you can control it within 120 feet.
Okay, sick. Can I hit him with lightning?
Yes.
I'm gonna do that then.
Okay. He's going to have to make a dexterity saving throw versus your spell save or your spell attack. Your spell save DC is 13. Wow. Success. He will take 3d10 lightning damage. That's 8,
Thank you.
14 damage. Now, the way this works is you can basically move it around. Like you could continue to move that point next round. As long as he's within 120 feet of you, you could have the lightning from the cloud hit him again. And he has to make another save.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
It do be
Okay.
like that sometimes. Oh, wait,
I had to read, no, because I saw this other part about being outside, but it's only if you're outside during a storm, it actually does extra damage, but it's not storming. It's like a nice sunny day. All right. So Unak now throws his spear. Hit.
Someone said snack kicking time. I like that.
All right. So
Sleep.
Kicking and snacking.
Kicking and snacking.
Kicking it and snacking it.
I just asked my dad if he'd bring me ice cream, but he hasn't responded.
Tell
So
Chuck to hit the line.
let me describe how this looks, because the dragon is now flown, and after being attacked brutally as it was passing by all of you guys, it's now flying up, and it doesn't attack the temple. It kind of flies away from the temple, and it's going further away from the village, like to the north. It's like north of the village.
Can we see why?
Well, I mean, you could figure why between all of their arrows and your lightning and Unak and Charsane's spears, it took a lot of damage.
So he's like, is he leaving or did he just like back up a little bit?
Yeah, you feel, well, you're not sure if he's leaving for good, but he's definitely not circling back around. Like he's flying north away from you guys.
Okay,
Oh.
so that means that we have more time to get information and then save the people that are like about to be trapped and burning in the cottage.
Yes. So
Wait,
what
there's
I
no
want to
more
know,
town up north though. I thought the north was like empty after this.
well, we'll see.
What does that mean? Oh my god, is this dragon the fire god that we're trying to look for too?
I don't know.
Oh, Bill.
What?
Bill.
Let me just enjoy this Coke
William?
Zero.
William?
So what you're
Explain,
saying
let
is
him
that
explain.
guy-
Let the man vibe for a second.
Okay, so
America, explain.
here's what happens.
America?
Explain.
Explain.
About 30 seconds pass by, and that dragon does not circle back. You see him flying away to the north. He's past the woods now. He is several hundred feet away.
Okay, well, if we come across him again, we know that he's a bit of a pussy, so we can fight him again. So
Interesting thing about that. You hear the screams of people as they're like coming out from the buildings and finding like their dead relatives, like burned to a crisp on the ground. And you hear like
How would they know it's them?
the
I like
crying
my
of,
uncle. Well done.
Well, they're not there.
you hear like old people lamenting and crying and children crying and other people just forlorn and sad. And you guys are surrounded by like a village that's just been bombed, basically. Like imagine if it had been bombed, because that's the effect that the dragon's fire has had. And Beth in particular, but also pretty much all of you, you have this feeling like you need to like help these people. Like they have just been traumatized by this horrible attack.
First-
What makes you think we have the mental capacity to handle this?
Because we tried to like help
Because
them.
I
Because we
know
looked
I'm
like we tried to be the
overwhelmed.
heroes. We
Give me
literally
your
tried to
guidance.
be the heroes.
We saved them. Isn't that enough? We literally saved their lives. Is that not
Okay,
enough?
I'm going to try to usher as many people I can just like out.
So many of the people are like so like literally so like traumatized by this that they like won't leave. They're like scared to leave the safety of the buildings.
Okay.
You notice, however, that the cottage that you guys were in, the roof is still like burning. You see Duke Charzane and Abby, you see Duke Charzane like mutter some words, and he levitates into the air above that building. And then he puts out his hands, and water just begins shooting out of his hands. Just like
Since when can he do this?
just water just cascading over the roof, and you see steam billowing and smoke billowing from where like the roof that was burning is now being like covered in water, just torrential water. By the way, you still have concentration over your call lightning. Is there anything that you want to do with it? Or do you want to let it go?
Are you suggesting that I should do something with it?
No.
Then I'm gonna let it go because I don't need it.
Is that staff calf coffee?
Are you
It's a
drinking
cup.
coffee
It's a cup with
and
ice.
Coke?
It's a cup
Okay.
with ice for my Coke Zero.
Okay.
Oh.
So you see this happening with Duke Charzane. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I want to walk around and see if anyone is like hurt but like still alive and like use my healing stuff.
Okay. So you begin kind of assessing who's wounded. There's a couple militia people that have like burns, but they're still alive. So you heal some people. You do find quite a few dead people. There's at least 30 dead people. Some of them were like guards that got clawed. Others are people who just got burned up. But what about the rest of you guys?
I'm doing a little light reading, and it says that when you're fighting a dragon, that you should use contagion with slimy zoom. Do we have either of those powers?
No.
I don't.
I kind of just want to walk around and try to like ground as many people as possible to be like if any of them are in shock, just be like, hey, sorry, but you gotta go. Like it's still not safe here.
Okay.
You gotta leave.
Okay. You actually, I'll have you try to lighten people's spirits a little bit.
Oh, also it says that when monks use stunning strikes, you can be good for against the dragon.
Yeah, that would be hugely good against a dragon, except it's 50 feet in the air. So for example, if she thought of the idea of climbing to the top of the temple and diving off to strike the dragon as it was flying by, that would have been a great use of stunning strike.
So what I was trying to do by getting behind him was I wanted to get on his back and like strike the top of his head, because How to Train Your Dragon said that they can't get you if you're behind them.
That's right. That would have been good too.
Your
It didn't
mind.
happen. It just
Look at
didn't work
you.
out like. I know. It
That's
just didn't work out
knowledge.
like that.
I'm so sorry.
I've thought about that.
Next dragon, bro.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you guys spend like the next half an hour just basically helping out the people in the village. Those of you who heal, you're doing some healing. Those of you with like the medicine proficiency are just trying to kind of help people with bandages and salves to ease the pain of their burns and their wounds. And after, like I said, after about a half an hour, it seems like most of the townsfolk who kind of either own buildings or own shops or are in some way involved with like running the town have kind of gotten things in order. And at that point, you notice that a older human male comes over to you and kind of approaches, and he bows to you, and he's like, I would like to say thank you for coming to the aid of our humble village. I do not know from where you came, but truly you are a blessing from the gods. Thank you.
I tell him to kiss my feet.
Lick my boot.
No. I just want him to kiss it out of respect.
He's like, by what names are you known, friends?
Whoa.
We don't really have a name. So you
Oh,
can't
look.
add us.
What? We're the Vixens. What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh, we don't know that. We don't know what we're called.
Do we know? Sorry, meta moment. Do our characters know that we're the Vixens?
No, they don't. They have no idea.
Well,
Just
I
never
just
like
you
we
know.
haven't
I have
established
not
that.
I say that in this
We are
game,
Vixens.
as characters, we go by the
Everybody
bad
has
biddies.
to play along.
We are the bad
Beth, do the thing.
I just came up
I'm a
with
minor, I'm
Vixens,
not
and we're
comfortable with
gonna
that.
go along with it, and just so
I
that
have,
he
I
thinks
have a little bit of
Okay,
beef
it
with
doesn't
that.
really matter.
it really. Yeah.
We're
But
the
it's cool.
Vixens, Mr. Old Man. Nice.
Don't
Thank
worry
you.
about it.
Welcome.
AKA
You're
the
so
Get
bad
away
welcome.
from me.
And may I ask, who is your friend? He seems also to be a gift from the god. And he points to Duke Sharsane, who's currently
He's a
like
bitch.
That's our friend Frankie. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about Frankie.
No, don't worry about Frankie.
Frankie's a little.
Frankie belongs to us.
is
Frankie
he
just has.
Frankie has some mental issues. We take care of
No,
him.
you're
He's our
asking
cousin.
too many questions, bro.
Don't
Mind
talk
it.
about him. Bye bye.
He's just tagging along, but he's got special needs.
We gotta say he's Abby's cousin.
So he
Abby's-
he bows 3 times and he like backs away and then he leaves.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Let's.
Um
Can we go back to the temple and
yeah,
step
Yeah.
out now? Because I want to know.
yes. So you guys get back to the temple and you notice that like most of the people who were taking cover in the temple have left, but there are still people like saying prayers in the temple and like giving thanks to the gods and asking for like protections and stuff like that. And you notice that you guys are the worst. So you notice that Zara is talking to the priest that you saw earlier, and the priest is like explaining something to her. So you guys kind of approach, and just as you get up there, the priest is like, you overhear him saying to Zara, he's like, "I would tread carefully, though. Some of the archives have not been maintained very well. It could be dangerous, structurally speaking. So be very careful."
We try.
And she nods and she's like, I thank you. So she turns around and she walks over to you guys and she kind of like leans in so that none of the civilians around can hear. The priest said that this temple does not contain very much information. He said that there is an older temple to the northeast in the foothills that is part of a ruined area. I guess, according to him, there was a town previously to the northeast that was destroyed hundreds of years ago
Is
by
there
a dragon.
fire damage there?
Well,
By a dragon?
from what he said, it was destroyed by a dragon hundreds of years ago.
How far?
Not too far.
That's
perhaps.
probably where the dragon's nest is now, because that's where the dragon went. That's like.
I asked him like approximately
Dragons
like
live in caves?
traveling by foot. What's the length of time?
She says it's a few hundred yards away. It's less than a half a mile.
The town?
Let's go and take
The
a stroll.
yeah,
ruins.
the ruined town.
But
At least
okay.
people have never been there before, just like they have rumors.
The priest said that the villagers avoid that area because they believe that it's cursed.
That's
But he said that the old temple might still have some of the lore and archival history in the catacombs underneath it. But he did warn us that we should be careful because it could be structurally jeopardized.
Okay, let's go. Or should we check the temple that we're in right now for any information?
That first.
We should do
and
that
then-
first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have anyone who wants to do an investigation, you could spend an hour looking through this temple to see if you could find out more information.
I'm gonna go, since I'm like super fast. I'm gonna go to the town in the northeast and just like scope it out.
Okay, that'll end up well.
Yeah, I know.
Alone?
I'm doing it.
Why are you going alone? Why can't you just wait for
Reagan,
whoever's...
that was a sarcastic, that will end well. Which means it's not going to end well.
Just
Wait.
wait, because we'll do this one first. See if does anybody actually want to do this one?
Okay, but didn't we just look at this stuff and there's like literally nothing here?
Yeah, didn't
all
they
right.
look when they went to the temple?
No,
Like,
it's
where-
only been like a half an hour. So you guys
He said it
kind
would
of
take days.
Then why did we split?
you guys kind of like spread out and you kind of start investigating. Mantra, you come across a book actually that's in the small library that talks about the history of this village. And according to the book, originally there was a larger town that went from the foothills all the way down to the river. And that several hundred years ago, a great dragon by the name of Zemanek had destroyed the entire town and destroyed it to such an extent that the only thing left were the ruins by the foothills. But everything else was completely burned and destroyed. And that for a long time, nobody came near there. And then a long time afterwards, they rebuilt this small village near the river. And that's the village that you guys are in today. So the village of Desa Utaro is like not the original thing that was here. They basically built like a village over this plateau that was completely decimated hundreds of years ago.
So what's this one called?
This one's Desa Utara. You also find out, so Sina, when you're looking, you find out that there's another town to the north of here.
Okay.
Further up the river, closer to the coast, there's actually a fort and like a walled town up to the north. And that is a town that actually survived the dragon attacks from 300 years ago. So it sounds like the town that's to the north, which is called Benteng Utara, is a walled fortress town, and that actually survived the original dragon attacks.
How long do dragons live?
Curious. Well, you know what? I'll find out for you. Let's see. All right, Loki, because you have a 19 and what is Sorshe's? You feel like dragons can live for a long time.
Is it the same dragon?
No. This is why you can definitively say no. Because if it was the same dragon, it would have been way bigger.
Oh, that makes sense.
The dragon that you guys just fought, you feel like was pretty young. And
Was
if
it
you
a baby?
No, it wasn't a baby. It was young, but you feel like if it was more than 300 years old, it would have been like an ancient red dragon, those are huge.
It's his kid.
So wait, does that mean that this dragon
It's
is
his kid.
still alive? That killed it 300 years ago?
Well, you don't know. Because no one has seen, so the dragon that they referenced in the book that Mantra found, they actually had a name for that dragon, and it was called Zemanek. And Zemanek was the dragon that destroyed this place 300 years ago. The dragon you guys just fought is definitely not that old. It's more like a young dragon. So you don't know.
Do we know the species of the one that just
Both of them are red.
Here?
Both of them were red dragons. The one that you just fought for sure was a young red dragon, but the
Red dragon?
older
That
one.
does not sound scientific.
That
That's
is-
no species.
What
That's a
species
color.
are
That
you?
ain't a
Red dragon.
I'm talking
species.
about like a monarch butterfly, not like a
Freaking-
red butterfly. You know.
Okay, it
I
is
promise you.
Brachus Manus.
Breaking.
Yeah.
That's
Turn on a light.
Because that's dragon in Latin and hand. I don't know.
Snaps to Latin.
Okay. Let's go to the town then. Let's go to the place. Let's go to the ruins.
Okay, so you guys, you gather. Well, first of all, Duke Sharsane and Unak, they kind of like are heading towards the temple as you guys are coming out. And Sharsane walks up to you and he looks at all of you and he's like, "You are all of good health. The dragon has not injured you."
No, buddy, we're good.
No, I'm straight.
"We will stay here to help the people." "How long will we stay?"
Maybe they
We should have like a ceremony, and then we should leave. Like for
A
the
few
people
days, because
who-
we have to go find them.
Ah, yes, them.
Also, I don't know if the Duke and Unak should be hanging around all these people because they're gonna start to question it.
Can we call her the Flam?
Flam.
You want,
Who?
you think perhaps
Them.
Them.
Unak
Oh,
go
them.
with
They said
you?
Flam.
Okay, guys. We're not talking.
I think both the Duke and Unak should come with us.
Yes.
I don't think they should
Yeah.
stay
Are
here.
you asking us if we want to stay here with you guys for a little bit?
I ask if we all stay to help this town.
No.
There no, we
Kinda-
need to go. There's these ruins. We need to go
No,
there.
yeah. So we've got to get to this other place. I'm thinking we do you and Duke and like maybe one or two of us
But
stay here just for a very short amount of time, and then we meet back up at the ruins.
what if dragon returns?
Mm. We should get we get a conch shell and like signal each other. You know? Can we do that?
Why?
Because
why
we're only half a mile away. Think about that. They're only half a mile away.
Yeah.
But where are we gonna
If-
find a conch shell?
Wouldn't we be
Also, if you're half
able
a
to see
mile
the
away, you
dragon
don't
if we
need
were
a-
only half a mile away?
Does it have
All
to
right,
be
guys. It was
a
just an
conch
idea.
shell? Does it have to be conch?
It just anything that makes noise.
What
You
if we all
whistle.
just whistled? Why don't we just whistle?
Oh,
you
I'm
hear
really
a
good at
whistle from
whistling.
half a
I can do
mile
it
away?
blowing out and breathing in.
If we all do
So-
it simultaneously.
So the Duke turns to Unak and talks to him and then turns back and is like, "We will come with you to these ruins which are close.
Yes.
And then at nighttime we come back here to protect the village, yes?"
Sure.
He explains this to Unak and then they nod. "Yes, we should go now." So you guys begin walking northeast of the town. You notice like some of the farms, the people have like returned to their farmsteads and they're kind of like trying to clean up, wreckage and things that were burned. And you notice as you guys are going, like, you get to within about 100 yards of these foothills and you see like basically big stone block structures and like rubble. And you even see a couple what you think are like the foundation walls for some buildings. And you realize that you're not far now from the ruins.
I just don't understand why we have to come back and save a town. Like, why is this our responsibility?
I don't
Haven't
think
they
we
dealt with
should.
this for the past
I don't think we
300
should.
That's
years?
what
I
I
don't
said
think we
in the
should
very
either.
beginning.
But I think we should just tell Enoch
We
that we
really
are.
don't owe them anything.
I think if we have the ability to at the end of this, Like, why not?
I just feel like that's
So
really
why-
unfair.
My first question is number one. How come after
Mhm.
300 years they would figure out a way to deal with this problem? Number two,
Are you gonna ask
why are
questions that
they
are
still
like
living here
answerable
if
or like
this is the
rhetorical
problem?
ones?
Why are they still living here if this is a problem? Number three,
Okay, hold on.
does this mean that there are dragonborn here, like people/dragons?
I will explain to you if you want to retcon this. Let's say that you asked, like, while people were looking around the temple, you went out and talked to people in the town, like the militia, right? So the first thing they tell you is that they haven't had a dragon attack in 300 years.
It's not an issue.
The only dragon attack that happened was literally 300 years ago when this
And
dragon
that wasn't a
burned
sign
down.
to move the hell out?
300 years ago?
It would be like if there was an earthquake 300 years ago.
I'm
In
not saying that,
LaGrange.
that they should move now because something happened 300 years ago. I'm saying, why didn't the people who were there, like the OGs, move? And why were there
They
any-
did.
All
did.
died. The whole town was
They did.
killed.
Demolished.
Taking a
These are new
movie.
people.
That's
So-
like
No, it's the same
So-
old people from 300 years ago.
So basically, like, nobody in this town was around when the original dragon attack happened. And the dragon at that time, Zmai, was big enough and strong enough to destroy a town that was much bigger. Like the map that you guys have, that whole area from the foothills down to the river was all a much bigger town at the time when Zmai destroyed it 300 years ago. So it took a long time, but eventually, pioneers and settlers and stuff kind of resettled the area. And they have not had any dragon attacks. So that was the first thing that you discovered when you were talking to people on the streets. And there's also the dragon that you guys just encountered is definitely not the same dragon, because this dragon you guys encountered was smaller and younger.
Did someone like send it after us?
You
Can
don't
people
know.
tame dragons? Like in
Yeah.
this?
They've
I
made
want
like
to
3 movies about it.
I have
Well,
one more
girl, you want to
question.
watch them with me because
All
I
right.
haven't seen them before.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Oh,
Reagan,
let me
what's your
know.
last question?
My last
Oh, well-
question is: does this mean that either this dragon is the kid? Does this mean that there's like dragonborns around? Like is this an infestation or?
You don't know, and neither do the townsfolk. This is totally, this might as well have been like an alien ship landing. Like nobody has seen or heard of a dragon in this area in 300 years.
So what you're saying is this will probably not happen again, so we could just dip.
Maybe. So meanwhile, you guys are on your way up to the ruins. You get to the ruins and you notice, like I said, there's big stones that have collapsed. There's foundation walls and there's, but there's no standing buildings anymore. It's all kind of like completely just decimated. So what do you want to do?
Go
Keep it
look
pushing.
around. Look
Keep
for
it pushing.
the archives, which were in catacombs underground. You said?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorshe, you are digging around and you
Wait,
come
can my
upon one of
character
the
even read?
you're digging, dude. It's like archaeology. Like you're in ruins.
Dirt.
So you're like walking around looking and you notice that in one of the foundation buildings, you see like what looks like stairs. And they're stone and they're going down, but then there's like a rock collapse. So imagine like if there was a building with stairs going down into a basement, but rocks collapsed over it. But you think maybe this could be excavated and you guys could conceivably get in there.
Why don't we send the smallest? Whoa.
There's a lot of rock that needs to be moved. So what do you do?
Oh, well,
I'm gonna
since
start
I'm
moving that
strong and
rock.
a strong, independent woman, I move it.
Okay. So all of you guys basically just start throwing these, you're grabbing rocks, throwing them out. Who has crowbars? Explorer's kit. Okay, so a couple of you have crowbars. So between your raw strength and your crowbars for leverage, you guys spend 3 hours excavating this collapsed stairwell, and you finally get through enough of the rock. You have a massive pile of rocks and rubble, and you have excavated into what would now be a vaulted hallway that looks like it could have been catacombs. So basically, there's a long vaulted hallway that runs ahead of you.
Are there like bones and stuff?
There are little niches in the walls. However, there are not bodies or bones in them. There are stone tablets, scrolls, and a few books, but mostly stone tablets and scrolls.
Can I examine them? See if I recognize anything?
You could. So
History.
the first kind of batch of stuff, and I'm going to make like a group roll. Okay. So basically you guys have, between you have enough like history, arcana, and religion. So you spend another hour carefully searching these things. You find little holy symbols, you find like scrolls, you find stone tablets. Most of it is in Elvish. Some of it is in a language that you don't recognize, but as you're down there, Zara recognizes it, and she points to Duke Sharsane. And on this one stone tablet, it's written in his language. So you notice he like goes up and he like reads it. He goes, this, he holds the stone tablet up to you and he points to one of the symbols. He goes, you see here, this is Vem.
She wrote it?
This is the first prayer of Vem. In the first prayer of Vem, you have the calling of Eos and the breath of Vem.
Can we write it down?
Yeah, so Zara, like, she's writing all this down in her journals. Now, in addition to that stone tablet, like I said, you find scrolls and other tablets and even a couple books, all of which are written in Elvish. And what you decipher from those depends on how much time you want to spend. So if you want to stay here in this catacomb and like read them all night, you could.
Yeah, why
or
not?
you could bring them back to the village.
I feel like it's safer to stay here.
Okay. So I need to know who's doing, let me see. So the people with the actual skills in these things would probably be the ones that you'd want to have reading this stuff. And then the rest of you would probably want to take turns on like guard duty.
So who?
Okay, well, Woe can't read in the dark.
I
I don't
have
think
dark vision.
I don't think I can read Elvish.
I can't read Elvish either, but I do have dark vision. I could do
Well,
a guard thing.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that. The Duke takes a coin and casts a light cantrip on it and gives it to you, and it's like a portable flashlight. So you guys have enough.
I can't read Elvish, right?
Yeah. So the languages are the main thing. So Sorshe can read it, Sina can read it, Mantra can read it, and Tetra. Rip.
So
Cool. So I'll be outside.
can Reagan?
Yeah.
Sorshe?
So Sina has a huge history. Dude, wow, that's crazy. Why did I not know that?
Yes, you did. What do you mean?
You have mad history. You have a +6
Yeah.
to history.
Um,
Okay, and then Mantra, religion. Abby, what does Abby have?
I'm educated, unlike
I don't really
I
got
have-
anything.
these
I
other
have to go
ladies.
outside.
I have +3 Arcana, +3
Religion.
history, but
you have religion.
+6
Yeah.
Plus 6 religion.
So I'm going to make two separate rolls. Okay, so it's going to take you 4 more hours to read through all this stuff, splitting it up between you, but both of you successfully have religion and history checks covered. So while they're doing that, so while Sina and Mantra are reading through all this material, what are the rest of you guys doing? And Zara would stay with you guys so that as you're like learning things, you'd like tell her and she'd write it down.
I'm gonna help guard.
Okay.
I'm going outside.
If I'm not am I reading with them?
No.
Then I'm just gonna take a nap.
Okay. Whoa.
I'm going outside.
Okay. So the Duke will stay with the girls in the basement, and Unak will go out with you guys. So you guys are out there.
What time is it?
It's still like, so it took you a few hours to excavate. It took you a little bit of time to explore. I'm gonna say it's like evening, like 6.
Cool. I want to watch the
So
sunset.
I will say that you guys are hungry. You haven't eaten
Is that an
at all.
eyelash?
I'm gonna walk
Okay,
around.
fine. I wake up from my nap and I go and I fetch people food because I'm a badass hunter ranger.
You are, and there's woods to the west. So you actually go off and successfully hunt. After a little while,
I'm done cooking, I fall asleep.
after a little while, Sorshe returns with 3 rabbits and a fox, and she skins them and starts up a fire and cooks it. So you guys have food.
Can I just go like relax fishing?
Yes,
I'm gonna go fish for a little bit, just for funsies.
Favorite eyelashes.
you fish. All right. So meanwhile, smashing back to the catacombs. So those of you in the catacombs have discovered a little bit more of the lore. And what you discovered between the tablet about them and the religion and history combined is that between these 2 towns that used to exist, Desa Utara, which is where you are now, and Benteng Utara, the walled fortress town to the north, that somewhere in between these 2 towns in the wilderness, there was a temple to them. And around the same time, 300 years ago, that Desa Utara was destroyed by the dragon attack, that temple seemed to be abandoned. Like all the priestesses who once served there disappeared. And there's no record of where they went.
That's what happened to that lady's husband, who she fed to the tigers, right?
Uh-huh.
Nobody knew where he went.
Yeah.
So how do you find like a lost person? I'm sorry, that's what that reminded me of. How do you find like a lost person?
So
Like, you
the
have, like, no
references from the stuff you guys have found, there's no map, but basically it says that halfway between these 2 towns there used to be a temple. So you guys know that if you traveled,
What if like that temple, remember when we were looking for the Duke guys and you could go up or down, and when you went down there was like a lot of stuff? What if this is like that?
Should we bring
Like-
out the mouse now to go exploring?
Well, no, I think we should
Maybe.
wait for the girls to finish reading.
well, you guys totally explored this. Like I took that into account when I had it take you 4 hours. So like you guys there's no more exploration to be had in these ruins. But you do think that if you were to travel north for a day, that somewhere in between where you are now and that town Benteng Utara, there's supposed to be ruins.
Okay, wait, I have an idea, guys. You know how like we were trying to find Vam and we think she's over here? what if we found her and we brought her back to the town and we waited for the dragon to come back? Because she's a goddess of winds, right? So she can take all the air away, and you can't make fire without air. And we could kill the dragon by asphyxiation.
She could also like have a tornado push the dragon away too. That would probably be easier than
Well, we wouldn't
asphyxiating
kill
the
it
dragon.
then.
That would be cool, but we're not 100% sure that she's even gonna want to do that.
Also,
Well, we're not
I feel
100%
like
sure if
I'd
they didn't wanna- they
rather
don't wanna do that.
explore the ruins, especially because right now I can't read the things like whatever they're researching. I kind of want to go look for the other ruins.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
you know that you guys would have to either go back to the village and sleep like in a building, or build a camp here and sleep, because many of you blew through your healing spells, so you're out of spell slots. And it's at least, by your estimate, it's at least a half of a day, if not a full day of travel just to get to the spot where you think this ancient temple might be.
Okay.
Well,
I don't have
think
spells.
we
Can I
check out
just
the
go?
temple. Because if we don't check out the temple, then we might never find them.
Yeah, so I'm saying we set up camp here right now, and then tomorrow we go together, so that way it's not just Woe putting herself in
Well, you would, I mean, Woe, if you wanted to leave Woe, you could, but you'd be traveling through the woods at night by yourself.
Sounds like a-
Yeah. No.
with a dragon on the loose.
All right, fine.
Probably more than one dragon.
Remember when you said it probably wasn't gonna come back though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm so knowledgeable on these things.
I know. I just don't want to waste time. I just figure I might as well go while I have nothing to do.
Well, I think that what we should do is we should wait and let's all sleep and stuff, and then let's all go tomorrow morning after we know all the knowledge from them's like prayers and stuff that we're finding here. And
Yeah,
then we can even after we go there, like tomorrow, we can keep going to go find them.
I think we should rest and then go on it. Especially why would we go when it's dark out?
Plus, it's
No,
gonna
I don't
waste
mean
more
you
time
guys.
if we have to do a side story for you.
I
Okay.
said we rest, but you
So,
can leave if you want.
Yeah.
But like if you die,
Just because I go doesn't mean you guys can't rest.
I know,
The-
I'm just concerned that you're gonna die.
the
No, I know,
Duke,
but I mean,
the Duke overhears you saying this. I think it would be good to stay together with Dragonfly. But if Woe wishes to go, I can go with her because I do not need to sleep.
Roy, and I
Unak-
don't have any. I didn't lose any healing spells because I don't have healing spells. So like,
Unak must sleep. He will stay here with other girls.
yeah, I'm kind of trying to get a move on. Just a little.
It's up to you. I can come with, or you go by yourself, or we all stay together.
Can I, Duke? Do you want to just go like halfway?
What is
Sure.
the point of that? Why don't we all just go to sleep?
You can go to sleep. I don't need to sleep right now. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so I'll say this: you can go out for a scout. You go out, and he creates another light cantrip on like a walking stick, so you can see within 30 feet of you guys. You're walking along. You go for an hour or two, and you're basically walking through like a pine wood forest. Like it's quiet, it's peaceful. You see like animals every once in a while, but really it's pretty chill. Smash cut back to the rest of the group. You're in the ruins. You make a camp, and you've already eaten because Sorshe got fresh meat, and then you guys go to sleep. Who's on the first watch? Okay.
I will do that.
All right. First watch goes well. Second watch. Who's on second watch?
Okay.
Okay. Second watch goes well. Whoa. You and the Duke don't find anything. So you return to the camp? Or do you keep going by yourself?
How far did you say the travel was gonna
like a
gonna
half
be to
day? Half of a day.
Do we perceive any? Can I use some sort of roll something to see if I find anything about the dragon? And if I don't, I'll just go back.
You see broken tree branches every once in a while, but nothing else.
I'm gonna go back.
Okay. You get back in time to get sleep. Second watch goes fine. Who's on the last watch?
I'll go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing seems to happen. You wake up, everybody else, you guys pack up your stuff, you eat some leftover fox and rabbit meat and some trail mix, and then you head north.
I think so, if they're all done investigating.
Yeah. So Zara has an idea that maybe we should keep some of these things just in case. She took a lot of notes, but like just in case. So she fills like a bag with some stone tablets, some scrolls, and one of the books, and then but it's heavy. So she gives it to Unak, and Unak carries it. So you guys start traveling. Whoa, this is very familiar to you because you walked this route with the Duke last night, and it seems like it's pretty much the same. It's actually a little bit nicer. There's like a cool breeze that blows through the pine forest as you guys are traveling along, and it doesn't look like a lot of people travel through here. Like you're not going on a path through the forest. You're literally like kind of navigating through little deer paths and stuff. I'm going to have Sorshe make a roll survival check. That is good. So you feel like you know your way, your directions.
Yep.
And you're kind of like leading the group through, and every once in a while you kind of stop and figure out like how far away are you from the river, and then you kind of delve a little bit further. So you guys travel for a good 6 hours, like very uneventfully. And you're traveling through the woods, and you get to a point where you stop, you have something to eat. There's like a little creek, freshwater creek, and nothing happens. So you continue traveling, and by 4 in the afternoon, like late afternoon, you guys come across a path. So the interesting thing about the path is that it looks like at some point in time, this might have been an actual road. Like you see broken cobblestones, but it's so overgrown with like dirt and leaves and like just decay, and the cobblestones are cracked, that it looks very old and like nobody's used this road. And there's like weeds growing in and out of it and stuff. But you find it as Sorshe's like leading you through the woods, you kind of come to this road. Anything?
Okay.
No? Okay.
Do we want to investigate it?
Sure. Well, I mean, you, like I said, you look it over and it looks like it used to be like a properly built road, and it's just in disrepair because it hasn't been used.
Does it head north?
It does. It heads north and south.
Let's head north on that road.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys follow this broken road, and I mean, at certain points, there's like trees that have grown up out of the middle of it, but you basically stick to it. You travel for a couple more hours, and towards sunset, it's still light out, but towards sunset, you guys kind of see that the road opens up, and even though you're still nestled in the woods, you see like up ahead in the distance, you see like a building. You see the outline of a building.
Like a temple?
It does look like a very ornate temple. However, as you get closer, you notice that this temple is not as ruined as where you just were. Like the building is still intact, but there's chunks of it that have fallen apart. There's like vines growing up in it and around it, and like weeds and stuff, and bamboo shoots like all around it. So it basically looks like it's been like abandoned in the woods for who knows how long.
Is there any sign of like arson?
Interestingly enough, no. You don't see any scorch marks, and it would be pretty easy to see that because the entire building is made of white marble.
Can we
Now this-
can we ask the Duke to do a spell where it returns it to its original state?
They got money in that castle. It's white marble.
Can we be
He,
like, Duke, return this castle to its original state?
He goes up to like one of the cracked stones. So you guys like approach the building, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
He goes up to one of the cracked stones and like puts his hand on it, and the crack like seals. He's like, that is all for today.
I'm like, bruh.
Understandable.
So there's a set of white marble stairs that lead up to a main entrance. And you could see that this beautiful like main entrance at some point used to have like wooden doors that must have been nicely carved, but now all that's left is like rotted wood. It's like mulch basically. It's like just peeled off, and like there's chunks of the doors that have fallen, and you could see inside through like the cracks and the chunks of the door that have fallen that like there's an interior of the temple that seems to be intact.
How far is this, like the thing we were going for in the first place, or are we not there yet?
You don't know. I mean, this clearly looks very similar to the temples of them that you have seen in like major cities. Like the white marble thing is a common theme with temples to the wind goddess. And the only thing that's different is like the architecture. Like it looks like a very old style of architecture. Like they don't build temples like this anymore in the cities. There is the central, you'll notice that there is a central tower. So like imagine like a church building, right? But there's a middle tower that goes up like 4 stories, and the top of that is above the tree line. It's like above the canopy.
Okay, so are we gonna go inside?
How big is it?
It's a pretty big building. It's like 60 foot wide by probably 140 feet deep.
Okay. Is there multiple stories?
It looks like there's only it's like a tall ceiling, so maybe like a 2-story interior, but the temple, like the tower, goes up probably 4 stories. That's like the tallest part of it.
I feel like that's a doable investigation.
Okay.
How we feeling, gang?
Yeah.
Zara's like,
I'm down.
Zara's like, this must be what we found yesterday. This must be the temple that was abandoned.
I have a feeling it's not, but
But go off.
Wait, well, let's
Okay.
go inside.
Let's just try it. Let's go in.
no, yeah, I want to
Alright.
investigate it. I just feel like there's gonna be some sort
Or
of twist.
or should we let the mouse go first?
All right, yeah, Leo. We'll bring Leo back
Yeah.
up. He's gonna come back and tell me if it's safe or not. So I walk up the steps and I put him on the front, and I'm like, ouch.
Leo.
That hurted a lot.
Wait.
So I put him on the
She
steps.
wanted.
It was a 1. Your mouse runs into the temple, and you eagerly wait for it to return. But it doesn't.
He's trained. He's trained.
That's
must
no
have been
match for
distract-
one of my
It
die.
must have been distracted by something in the temple.
He's trained.
Are
Okay,
you
let's
telling me
get
there's
our
food in the temple?
Maybe,
I'm gonna.
You guys-
I'll just.
Do you guys
just
want to
walk
go in?
I'll just.
maybe
walk
Well,
we
in.
you
should
can't-
prepare
I mean-
our weapons
you have to break the doors open because they're rotted. You can't even push them open because they're like the hinges are rusted. So you would have to literally
I
smash the
take
wood
Morning
down.
Star and I go kapow.
Ninja kick, ninja kick, ninja kick. I ninja kick it. I'm gonna ninja kick it.
All right, you ninja kick and punch, and Reagan smashes it with her Morning Star, and Mantra gets her maul out, and they just beat it until the wood's all splintered and broken.
It was actually
And now it's
unlocked
open.
the whole time.
And there's dust everywhere, and there's like vines that have grown in through the windows, and like there's cracks in the foundation and the walls where like water is seeped in, and it's very like it's like very dilapidated. It's run down, and
What?
you notice when you go in there, it looks like there used to be like areas off to each side that it almost looks like a coat room. Like on each side, there might have been like a place to hang up a coat or a cloak. And then you go inside and it's all open. It's like a massive open space and very airy and open feeling. And you notice that there's like a brick tower stairwell. Like there's like a stairwell, and that middle tower stairwell seems to be intact. And you see your mouse sitting on the stairs.
Hey, buddy. What you doing?
All right. It runs back down to you, and you notice it has like a little, like some kind of macadamia nut or like some nut from one of the adjacent trees.
Bro,
And
he's
it's, like,
allergic.
nibbling on that nut. The rest of the building's interior is overgrown, and like there's like moss growing along the cracks on the walls. You think that maybe at some point there might have been some other decorations, but a lot of it has fallen off the walls and just like mildewed and rotted. Like it looks like there might have been silk curtains at some point, but they're just in piles on the ground.
Am I the only one in? No, everybody else is
No,
in here.
all of you
Too,
guys
right?
are
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Okay, so
One of
should
us should just go up there. Let's just go see.
yeah, let's just go up the stairs.
I'm gonna
Who's
go
going?
investigate.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go investigate.
I
Amanda.
will go.
Weapons
too.
out though. Weapons out. Weapons prepared.
I got the Glock ready though. I got the Uzi on me.
You don't have a Glock.
And my
I got my
freaking
sword,
short bow
though.
might as well be. My short bow might as well be a freaking Glock. Okay.
So you
the way I
see,
use it.
Sina runs up first. You have your rapier out and your dagger out, and you're ready. And you go up the stairs, and you're going up, and you're about halfway up to the first level, and there's a chunk that's broken off, but you spot it. So you like jump over it. It's an easy jump, right? And you tell everybody else about it, I assume?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so nobody falls and wipes out. You guys jump over this little cracked part that's missing from the stairs. You continue to go up. You get up to past the second floor, and you notice that the spiral stairs, like the stone tower stairs, keeps going up. And you like look down, and you're like, wow, this is higher up than I thought it would be. But you keep going up, and you get up to basically the top of the building, and you could see the roof now of the rest of the building, and much of that roof is like rotted out, and there's like holes in the roof where it's rotted out. And you keep going up, and you get to the very top, and it ends on a stone landing, and there's a stone door that goes into a room at the top of the tower. And there's like a stone frame around the door, like a door frame.
Is there like a knob or something?
No, there's no knob. Interestingly enough, there's no
Why
knob.
are there never knobs in this freaking game? Ever.
There's
Ever.
a
They didn't
stone
have those?
door.
They don't have knobs.
There's knobs all the time. But this one,
Really? 'Cause I haven't come
I
across
prick
one.
my finger on my Morning Star, and
We
I
spent-
put,
I'm pretty
I
sure we
carved the
spent,
name
30
Them.
minutes of an episode trying to open a door without a knob, and
Wait,
it
wait.
didn't go well. So
wait.
I don't know why you keep
Give
doing
my
that.
blood to the girl who travels with us, and I tell her to put the symbol for them on the door with my blood.
Did you
Okay.
just refer to Zara as the girl?
Yes, ma'am.
She does. She
I'm
does
so
that.
glad this
Okay.
isn't real.
So you you notice that this door has 4 symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them's a triangle. One is a circle. One looks like a W of some kind. You're not really sure what that's supposed to be. And then
Can I
the
do
other,
a history check on that?
huh?
Can I do a history check on that?
Sure.
WWE. W3, but the
John Cena. John Cena comes out of the wall.
And I,
Nope.
It's role playing. Anything can happen.
So on the one side there's a triangle, a circle, and then there's another symbol that looks like a W, and then another one that's like 3 flat lines, horizontal lines.
Sandwich.
that's what it is.
What did my blood do?
Nothing.
Can I go?
Why do you put your blood on like
I
everything?
just,
You did
I
that
just want
last
to
time
touch
too.
the circle.
It
Can I just
worked
touch the
last
circle?
time.
You touch the circle?
Yeah, I just want to touch it.
Okay. It feels
I'm gonna
like
lick it.
each one of these symbols was carved into this stone door frame, and they seem very old.
I'm gonna lick it.
What does Zara think about it?
Yeah, did she see any of the symbols when she was reading?
I already rolled for her. She's looking through her books. You lick which symbol?
All of them, just to try.
Okay.
Oh no.
So here's what happens. When you lick the symbol with the 3 horizontal lines,
Would you like to taste my blood, girl?
it briefly glows. Briefly glows like
Let's
a
all spit
light
on it. Let's all spit on
light blue color. Wait, girls.
it.
Sorry.
Like that's sorry.
Only the 3 lines that you licked glow blue. That's it.
But I licked all the other ones, right?
Yeah, nothing happened with the
Okay,
other
wait,
ones.
what if
I'm gonna-
the 3
I'm gonna
lines
lick one. I'm gonna
represent
lick
her
the-
speech?
I'm gonna leave my tongue on there.
Okay.
Different bodily fluids for different symbols. I'm gonna pee on all of them. See what happens.
My blood didn't work though.
Okay, wait.
That's
If you
real.
seriously pee on them, then this is what happens. Nothing happens with any of the other symbols except for the same one that happened with Beth's, the 3
So
lines.
it just needs to be wet. Maybe.
Wait,
Maybe
but
it
my
doesn't
blood,
need bodily
Elements,
fluids. Maybe it just
elements,
needs to
the
be
blood
wet.
didn't work. I used
Who
Who has
blood.
water?
Elements.
First of all, Reagan, you wiped blood on the door. So
Wait, okay, can I
I
blow?
know. I said I
Can I
put my
blow
blood.
on all of them?
I want the symbol of them put all over the door, like a big.
Can
like a
I
touch-
blow air on all of them?
yes. When you blow air on the circle, it lights up white.
Fire. Somebody, Abby, breathe fire on both of them.
Let me breathe fire on them too, because I can do that because
What
I'm a
is it?
fire.
My right
Dirt.
shoulder blade is shaking.
Dirt. I go get some
I
dirt.
volunteer for Earth and I take a massive shit on the other one.
Abby,
I'm gonna go outside and grab some dirt.
Abby,
I just
I
said
just took
that.
the massive shit in my hand. It is in the hand.
Reagan.
Yes, Bill?
Abby, finally having the opportunity to use your skills as a entertainer fire breather.
I've used them once before.
Yeah, you take some kerosene in and you go, and when you do that to that symbol of the 3 facing lines up, it glows an orange red.
Nice.
Okay, do we need to do all
Alright.
4 of these at once?
Now, when filthy, dirty Sorshe wipes her shit on the triangle, it glows. It glows
Actually-
green.
There's no way that could be Earth. That's not Earth. How does not Earth?
Yes, it
It's
is.
the remains
What do
of
you
which
think
being,
dirt
which is
is?
part of the earth.
Now, when she does that, after all of you have done this with the other symbols, and the last symbol glows green, you notice that all 4 of them glow in their respective colors. And then you see that glow start to get brighter, and the outline of the door starts to glow. And then it starts to slide. You hear it like scraping. Imagine like the sound of a stone scraping along more stone.
Just
but
so you know,
slowly, it
do have
starts
a-
to vibrate, and then it starts to move back and shift over to the side and open. And you guys can
Element.
see something is inside, standing 6 feet away from you, looking at you.
Ew.
At least he's being safe.
I hate that.
And we'll find out what that thing
6
is
feet.
next on the Vixens. See you next week, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week and find out what's in the room. See you. Peace out. Love you. Bye.